uh, it is really interesting to know uh, different or variety of application of separating theorem in case of solving optimization problem. So separating theorem or separation theorem, it is always dealing with two disjoint convex set. So that kind of thing we will discuss in detail here. So one important application outline of my today's the following. First, I would like to discuss about supporting hyperplane. It is very a special kind of separating hyperplane which is touching one of the given convex set. So this supporting hyperplane, it is acting like a tangent to a convex set. So that's why supporting hyperplane, it supports one of the given convex set. So that's why supporting word is coming. And also, apart from supporting a given convex set, it is doing separation as well. So that's why we are calling it, and the supporting hyperplane is one of the example of separating hyperplane. Once we cover this supporting hyperplane, then we will go to discuss about polar and dual cone. These are also very much important in order to understand KKTA condition and other duality kind of concept. So uh, polar and dual cone, these are very essential. And also, if you want to define Minkowski sum, Minkowski difference, and different kind of composition of convex set, you need to know a lot about polar cone and dual cone. Then very a specific example of polar cone, we will talk about that cone. We are calling it normal cone. And whenever you will see in KKT condition, the condition that given constant is satisfying, that 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 one is forming a cone, and that cone we are calling it a normal cone. And there is a just as a negative of this normal cone, we will have a cone. That cone we are calling it tangent cone. So there is a very one-to-one correspondence between tangent cone and normal cone. A tangent cone, you can say that it is very much related with dual cone, and polar cone is very much related with dual cone. So these kind of things, intensely I have taken this example in order to get more clarity over dual cone and polar cone. Then, if time permit, then we will cover this one, the theorem of alternative, or in another way, we are calling it separation oracle. So it is very important kind of oracle. It is just concluding that you have already understand the concept of convexity of a set. If you understand separation oracle, and if you are able to find application of separation oracle, it simply signifies that you have very good understanding of separation of convexity of set. So that's why separation of oracle I have written. So probably in next class I would like to cover in detail. Otherwise, I will talk about little bit, and then after that we will shift to next module. So first, today I would like to discuss about supporting hyperplane and further optimality condition. So how, in order to proceed further, we need to define first supporting hyperplane. So here title should be supporting hyperplane. So consider we are having a given set S, and we are having a boundary point x naught. X naught is a boundary point. You know that many times I have already told that boundary point, the point which is along the boundary of a given set. So and so we are having one set S and another boundary point. Then a hyperplane defined by uh, A transpose X equal to A transpose X naught. So in place of B here, we are taking a very specific number. This number, remember that it is not a general B. It is very specific B, or very specific bias. P A transpose X naught. So here bias is also defined in terms of your given boundary point X naught. So this kind of the difference between separating hyperplane and supporting hyperplane, you can easily see that general supporting hyperplane is dealing in right hand side is any general bias, but in supporting hyperplane we are taking very specific bias, that A transpose X naught. Then this hyperplane we will call as supporting hyperplane to the given set S at point X naught. If we see that every element of S, it is in the lower half a space with respect to this one. This one is the lower half a space. That means H minus. So supporting hyperplane giving two things. It is talking about first separation, a clear separation of of given set S and boundary point X naught. Boundary point X naught. X naught, remember that X naught is not an interior point of S, it is a boundary. It must be on the boundary of the set S. If you take any set, definitely you will get a boundary. So it must be in boundary of the set S. So it is supporting hyperplane is talking about first thing separation of the given set S and boundary point X naught. And second, it is talking about support. It provides support to the set at point X naught. So this it supports or tangent. Support and tangent both are same thing. It supports the, so I will, better word is support because it is just resembling with supporting hyperplanes. That's why I am writing support. The hyperplane also supports the given set S at point X naught. So it is having a dual job of supporting hyperplane. One is talking about separation, another was talking about supports. So here we have taken few example. In example one, you can observe that S is a non-convex set. Then in this non-convex set, take a boundary point here. X bar is a boundary point. Then we can define a supporting hyperplane which will separate this set S with X bar. There is a clear separation. This one is a not a strict separation, but it is a separation which separate X bar and S, and this plane we are calling it supporting hyperplane. Also, apart from separating, it is also doing a separation. So this part of element of S, you can write it. So you need a direction. Suppose direction of normal, always we, if with respect to a set, we always consider direction of a normal outward normal direction, like this way. So direction of normal of the supporting hyperplane, suppose this one is the supporting hyperplane, then we will see that there is a clear separation, that A transpose X is less than equal to A transpose X bar for every X in the set given set S. We can observe a clear separation. Here equality less than equal to is coming, and for this part you can observe that here in this part you observe that X transpose A transpose X is greater than equal to A transpose X. So there is a clear separation of this set and this point. If you come to see this set S is a convex set and X bar is a boundary point. So at this X bar, it is a very special kind of boundary point. This point you can observe that it is a kink kind of boundary point, or you can say that at this point here, For this example, this boundary point was on the smooth boundary of the set S. That's why you got a unique supporting hyperplane. But if you are having a boundary point which is not on the smooth boundary, then you will get more than one supporting hyperplane. One supporting hyperplane is this one is the one supporting hyperplane. You can observe that this is another supporting hyperplane. Likewise, you can define infinitely many supporting hyperplane at this point. There is a kink kind of a structure if you observe. So there are more than one supporting hyperplane. So these are little bit bad boundary point. You can call it. You don't non-smooth boundary point. You can call it. These points are non-smooth boundary point. There are technique to handle non-smooth boundary point that we are calling it. Subgradient technique we can apply there in order to handle this one. So there is no so this one is also one. So there are many supporting hyperplane at this point. But if you come to see in this set, this set is not a convex set. So if you talk about separate supporting hyperplane at this point, then there is unique supporting hyperplane. But if you come to find supporting hyperplane at this point, then also there is a unique supporting hyperplane, but this supporting hyperplane is also support this set at different point as well. If you take a boundary point here, this one is a boundary point, there is no supporting hyperplane. So if you try to draw a supporting hyperplane in order to support this set at this point, suppose call it this point x3. This boundary point x3. So definitely if supporting hyperplane or a hyperplane passes through this point x3 is not going to separate point x3 and the set, because here we will get point of x this given set, also this side, both sides. So both sides of the supporting hyperplane we observe points of same set. So in order to see that there is no separation, so in this case we unable to find a supporting hyperplane at every point. So if a set happens to be non-convex, it is not possible to find supporting hyperplane at every boundary point of the given set. So at x3 there is no supporting hyperplane, but x1 we are having a supporting hyperplane, x2 we are having a supporting hyperplane, this call it x4. So at x4 also we are having a supporting hyperplane. Also if you take anywhere here, then you will observe here all these boundary points you will observe supporting hyperplane. But if you come here or here or here, so in this case you don't have any supporting hyperplane. So due to non-convexity, of a set, you may get a supporting hyperplane or may not. But if you are having a convex set, you will all this case. So if for this case, for a convex set, at every point always you will get at least one supporting hyperplane. If your point is boundary point, it is on a smooth boundary, then you will get like a smooth boundary. This is the smooth boundary. A smooth boundary, you will get only one supporting hyperplane. And suppose your boundary point is not at a smooth boundary, then you will get more than one supporting hyperplane. So these are different scenario to get a supporting hyperplane of a given convex set. So one more example here I had taken here. So this set S, you can observe that this set S is a clearly it is a non-convex set due to this part, non-convex set. So if you try to define a supporting hyperplane passing through this boundary point x1, clearly x1 is the supporting hyperplane which is not separating this set in two parts. There are elements this side, also this side, both sides are having elements. So that's why we are not able to find a separation from the supporting hyperplane. So that's why for convex case, non-convex it is not always possible. But for convex case, we always get a supporting hyperplane at every boundary point. So that theorem we are calling it supported theorem. Whatever at last I discussed that we are calling it a supporting hyperplane theorem. What does it say? That for any non-empty convex set and any boundary point x bar, that means coming from the this is the notation of a boundary of a set. So suppose if you take this set This one is a disk. So if I ask what is the equation of this disk in algebraic form, you can write it. Equation of this disk is, it is a unit disk. So you can call it with radius x, all two dimensional point such that norm of x is less than equal to 1. This is a set. And if I ask what is the boundary of this one, this set unit disk, boundary is the circle. So boundary of this one is x such that norm of x equal to 1. Equality is coming here. So this is the boundary. If you take another example, uh, this one is unit ball, unit disk with respect to L2 norm. If you take unit disk with respect to L infinity norm, so this one is the unit disk with respect to this square kind of thing. It is a unit disk with respect to L infinity norm. So what is the boundary? This one is the set S unit ball. Uh, I am here interested to find boundary because supporting hyperplane always it will pass through the boundary of the set. So find the boundary. What will be boundary? So boundary would be a square. This is a square. So in algebraic form, how can we write a equation of boundary? We say that max of magnitude of x1 or x coordinate, magnitude of coordinate of max of x1 and x2, it must be equal to 1. That means you are talking about, you are saying that L infinity norm of x must be equal to L. In short, L infinity norm, that means sup norm. L infinity norm, it must be equal to 1. So it is dealing with boundary, is always dealing with equality. So that kind of, so this is the boundary of this square disk. This is the boundary. So find any boundary point, and at this boundary point try to draw possible supporting hyperplane. So here, if at all these boundary point, you will have same supporting hyperplane. It would be this vertical, uh, parallel to x2. So this is the supporting hyperplane at boundary point along this line, along this side. So supporting hyperplane. But if you come to find supporting hyperplane at this point, so at corner point there are infinitely many supporting hyperplane. One is this one, another is this one, and this one will be also a supporting hyperplane. So there are infinitely many supporting hyperplane at corner. So at corner you observe infinitely many supporting hyperplane. Similarly, if you come to here, find there is a unique supporting hyperplane here, this side verticals. And also you observe that if you take, this is the only supporting hyperplane for all these boundary points. Similarly, uh, this is the only supporting hyperplane for all these boundary points. But if you come at corner, you are getting infinitely many supporting hyperplane. This one is for this corner point also you are getting infinitely many supporting hyperplane. That means at corner point you always observe more than one supporting hyperplane for a given convex set. For a given convex set, I'm talking about supporting hyperplane with respect to convex set. Why? Because I had already mentioned that if you are having a non-convex set, then either you will get a supporting hyperplane, or you may not get a supporting hyperplane. That's why avoiding a non-convex set. So here one example, one more same, it is a elliptical convex set as we have taken. So in this set, at this, if you take an elliptical disc, then what you observe, every boundary point are having a smooth boundary. this set is having a smooth boundary. So every boundary point we can define a unique supporting hyperplane. So here it is already defined. So always what you do, just for practice purpose, so you got support your supporting hyperplane passing through x bar. You also got normal. What is normal? Normal also you can get it by just finding the gradient of the this corner boundary, and with the help of gradient easily you can get this is the normal to the supporting hyperplane. So always there is a separation happening here. Separation is, it is talking about the p, either a or p, both are same here. Direction is a. So clearly in the direction of normal you can observe that a transpose x bar is greater than equal to. Remember that here I am just not talking about only separation, I am talking about supporting as well. So here bias term would define in term of your boundary point. So A transpose x bar is, it is equal, greater than equal to A transpose x bar, and for this side you observe that A transpose x is less than equal to A transpose x bar. So there is a clear separation as well as support. Both the things we observe. So this is talking about supporting theorem. If set happens to be closed, then it will have a non-empty interior and has a supporting hyperplane in its boundary. Then it is a, you can say that it is a dual approach of defining a closed and convex set. So it means you can say that if you are having a set in such a way, you don't know that set is a closed convex set or not. You don't know about that, but just you know that that set is a closed set, and every point it is having a unique supporting hyperplane. Then you can claim that the given set is a convex set. So with the help of supporting hyperplane, you can justify that a given closed set can be a convex set just after having idea of supporting hyperplane at every point of the boundary of that closed set. Then you can claim that that set would be a convex set. So it is the definition of convexity of a set in dual perspective. So from the picture also you can see that try to define what is happening, that if you are taking a closed convex set, at every point you can define a unique supporting hyperplane. Then same thing you can say in reverse, that if you are able to define a unique supporting hyperplane at every point, then you can claim that that would be a closed convex set or have with a smooth boundary. Now, to understand supporting hyperplane in detail, you need to know about support function. It is dealing with a given convex set. So using separation theorem, we can derive alternative representation of, from the last discussion what I mentioned, that with the help of how supporting separative theorem we can define alternative definition of a convex set. Now support function of a set, it is defined as support of S. Remember that S is coming in suffix. S is given, you know about that. So support of S in the direction, read it like this way, in the direction of Y, it would be defined as supremum of Y transpose X, such that X is coming from S. That record how far, it says that how far this set S goes in each direction Y. So in last class, I had already mentioned that how to find support of a set. So very simple example, take it. So last time I had taken example a square like this way, this square. This was the square. So corner point, it had 4 corner point. One was origin, another was 1 0. I am writing in row form. 1 0. Third corner point was 1 1. And fourth corner point was 0 1. So for this set, in every possible direction I had already defined support. So if you are walking in 1 0 direction, what is the support? What is the support? Support you will get 1 in this direction. So what? How can you get support? So in this direction, project every element of this given set. So if you project this point, so all these point projection of all these point where it will fall, this would be projection of all these point on the on this boundary, on this side. If you take any point here, the projection of this one would be this, up to this. So projection will go up to this. If you take this point, so projection it will vertically falls on origin itself, 0. So here in this case, the projection of this one is 0. So what is the length of maximum projection? So maximum projection definitely in the direction of 1 0 you will get 1. So that's why support in the direction of 1 0 is, if I call it support of set S, difference between soup and support is in support to P is coming. Support in the direction of 1 0. Take your direction vector, you are taking it 1 0. So what is the support in the direction of 1 0? It is 1. If I am asking what is the support in the direction of this 1 1, so simply what would be support? Calculate in this direction, find the projection. So if you take this point, projection of this will come up to here. Projection of this it will come up to here like this way, and so support it will directly come from this vector. So find the support. So how can you find support? So again, support of this set in the direction of 1 1. What would be that? In the direction of 1 1. Simply find this length, this maximum length. So what is this length? It is the square root of 2. This is the support in the direction of 1 1. If I am asking what is the support in the direction of 0 1, if you are going in this direction, then what is the support? Support in the direction of 0 of this set in the direction of 0 1. So you can define. So that's why support is a function, because for every point, every direction value is changing. So it is support in the direction of 0 1. So what would be that? Support in the direction of 0 1. What is the support? If you want to project this point, it will come here. If you project this point, it will come here. So support in the direction of 0 1, again it will come 1. If you take support in the direction of, what is the direction of this one was 1 1, but if you take this side, what is the direction of this one? It is just 180 degree in 180 degree rotation. So -1 or -1. So support in the direction of this one, what? Support is 0. Support in the direction of -1 1 -1 of this set is 0. This set is your S. This is S, given set S, a square set. Support in the direction of -1 or -1 is 0. So likewise, you can calculate support of different set. Now, this one was that, or this one vertex of this set was origin itself. But if suppose I am taking a set like this way, deviation of it is not having origin as a corner point. So this is a square. So how can you find support of this one? So here support you will find as a difference. So find this length and also find up to this length. Then what you do? Subtract from this length, subtract this length up to here from this length. So actual support is this diagonal length. In the direction of 1 1, actual support is coming like this way. So it is different kind of concept will come, because here this set is 0 is not origin. Similarly, this is the support in the direction of 1 0. This is the support. This is effective length. Just you have to effective length you have to calculate. So direction support in the direction of 0 1, it would be just this length. That means what you do, find length up to this one, also find support up to this point, and subtract this segment from the total one. Then you will get effective length of the support. So if suppose origin is not one of the interior corner point of the set, then in that case what happens, you have to find support as a different approach. So this is the similarly, it is not only true for this kind of a square. You can take any kind of shape of a convex set. So take this kind of things. So if you are willing to find support of a disk in a particular direction, so what you do, first find this projection length. This is the maximum projection in the direction of 1 1, and this is the least projection, and subtract least projection from maximum projection. Then this one will give effective support, and that support, with the help of that support, you can define two things: supporting hyperplane at this point, also supporting hyperplane at this point. Easily you can define, with the help of that you can define supporting hyperplane of this point. So like that way. So for it is, if you are able to find support of a given set in a particular direction, then easily you can define a supporting hyperplane. So support is playing very important role in a particular direction in order to find or define a supporting hyperplane. So you need to know how to construct a support of a given set in a particular direction. You do a lot of practice for different variety of set. I will send few practice example as well. Otherwise, you can create yourself. So using separation theorem, it can be established that two closed convex sets are equal if they have the same support function. If you are taking two closed convex sets and both are having the same support function, then we can say that both set happens to be equal. Otherwise, we can't say. So it is one way to establish equality of two convex sets with the help of supporting hyperplane. Only trick. So one example here, one more example we have taken here. Here, if you take a Euclidean closed ball, this one is the Euclidean closed ball, like this way. Unit this disk. If you are in R2, so this would be disk with unit radius. Radius is 1. So if you try to find support of this function in a direction, in a particular direction, it would be just it would be simply finding norm of that one. You can look into here. So what is support of in this direction? 1 1. So this vector, what would be name of this vector? It is this boundary point. It is lying on this circle x square plus y square equal to 1. Then what is name of this point? Name of this point would be 1 by root 2 comma 1 by root 2. Easily you can find what is the length of this one, this vector in the particular direction that would give support. So support in the direction, what would be this? It would be 1. Easily for this point you can easily find it would be 1. Support would be 1. If you take vector direction, the vector up to this point, this would be support. So likewise, you can find support of given set in any direction with respect to any direction vector. With respect to any direction, whatever y, it would be. So for in this case, it is directly coming. It is as a norm of the direction. Okay. Now I would like to introduce here dual cone and polar cone. First, I would like to introduce dual cone. So what is dual cone? It is very interesting kind of dual cone. So let us recall cone. What does a cone say that? If cone, it is a very special kind of geometric structure where if you take any element and do a positive non-negative linear combination and it is again in that set, then we are calling that kind of a structure a cone. So this is a cone, and this one is also cone, but it is a non-convex cone. We can observe that it is non-convexity is there. So this one is one example of non-convex cone. And we are coming to define dual cone. So how can we define dual cone? So take a any set S from n-dimensional subspace, Euclidean space, and then collect all the direction such that this set is in the positive half. It falls, this set S, it falls in the positive half space of S. A positive half space that defined by hyperplane A transpose X. Defined by hyperplane A transpose X equal to 0. So simply A transpose X equal to 0. What you do? Find the or collect all the direction in such a way this set S, it would fall in the positive or in the direction of that A, in the direction of A. So likewise here. So we are taking a set K. K is a given set. Now, what is the dual cone of K? So easily we can define like this way. If we take any direction y is any given direction. With respect to this direction y, we can define a hyperplane. This is the hyperplane with the direction y, with the normal vector y. And you can easily see that this set K, it falls in the positive. This is the positive half space of the hyperplane with the normal y. So easily K falls in this positive half. So we can claim that y is an element of dual of K star. So we can say that y belongs to K star. That means dual of K. If you take any point here in the set itself, suppose this point. So with respect to this point, call it to y1. With respect to this point as a direction, consider here we are defining dual happens to be collection of all the possible direction in such a way this set falls in the positive half space of direction, in that direction. So if you are taking y1, this one y1, it is coming from this set K itself. So with respect to this, we can define a hyperplane like this way. So this is the hyperplane. So again here we can see that K falls in the positive half of y1. So easily you can see that K falls in the positive half space of y1. I am writing just signify that it is a half space with respect to y1. Suppose if you take any point here, any direction here, call it y2. Any direction here. Okay, we are calling it y2. So with respect to this direction, what is the supporting hyperplane, or what is the hyperplane with respect to this direction? It would be this. Now we observe there is a problem. So what problem? This is the positive half with respect to y2, positive half space, and positive half space doesn't contains K completely. It contains just part of K, and few part of K falls in negative half space with respect to y2. So that's way it doesn't, y2 doesn't belongs to dual cone of K. It is not falling in dual cone of K. Okay, suppose we are doing another thing. We are taking a plane like this way, taking a direction. This is y3. Okay, with respect to y3, we can define a hyperplane like this way. As a normal, we can define hyperplane like this way. This is the hyperplane. Again, we can say that y3 is not in the dual of K. Why? Because the hyperplane, associate hyperplane, contains few point of k in positive half space and few point in negative half space. That's where uh, yk doesn't belongs to k star. That means dual of k. So one example here, it is already given here. So I would like to task. I will give an algorithm through that you can find dual of a given set. So how can you find? So algorithm is like this way. What you do? First find extreme direction. It is having two extreme direction. One is this one, another is this one. So this cone k is having two directions. So first find the perpendicular, draw a direction perpendicular to this extreme. So what would be that? So it would be perpendicular. So draw like this direction is perpendicular to this extreme direction d1. I'm giving name of these two direction. This one is the extreme direction d1. This is the extreme direction of d2. So you got a perpendicular to d1. Similarly find perpendicular to d2. So this is the perpendicular to d2, perpendicular to d2. Now if you observe this perpendicular to d1, that element we are calling it d1, call it d1 star. D1 star is perpendicular to extreme side d1, extreme direction d1, and d2 is perpendicular to d2 star is perpendicular to extreme direction d2. So we can observe that with respect to d2 as a direction, we can define a hyperplane like this way. This is the hyperplane going like this way. So this is the hyperplane with respect to direction d2 star. d2 star. So here we can observe that k, it is falling in the positive half of, this is the positive half of half space with respect to k star. So positive half plus of d2 star. d2 star. Similarly, by considering d1 as a direction, you can define a hyperplane as a normal d1 star considering as a normal. So this one would be direction hyperplane. By considering d1 star as a direction, this one would be hyperplane. So with respect to this hyperplane, also we can see that k lies in the positive half space with respect to d1 star. Okay, d1 star positive half space h plus. So easily we can observe that these two are extreme direction of dual cone. If you take any vector here between d1 star and d2 star, what you will observe that suppose this one is d. So with respect to this d direction, what would be hyperplane? Corresponding hyperplane would be like this way, perpendicular draw, like it will go like this, passing through origin. There must be a common reference point. So this one would be. So again we can observe that k lies in the positive half space of hyperplane with normal d. So it is lying in the positive half space. So what is the um, dual cone of k? So dual cone of k is this complete cone. It is talking about this complete cone. It is the dual cone of k. Here you can observe that k, it is a subset of its dual cone as well. K is a subset of its dual cone. K is already contained in k. One more example I might have. This example, last case k was a cone. So here in this case c blue shaded region, it is a non-convex set. Even c is a non-convex set. Then what we do, whatever, whether it is a convex or non-convex, always find extreme direction. So one extreme direction is this black thing. line. This call it, I'm calling it D1. Find another extreme direction. This is the D2. Now find perpendicular to D2. This is the perpendicular to D2. So call it D2 star, because it will define boundary of your dual cone. And this one is perpendicular to D1, so I am defining it D1 star. Okay. Now shade the complete region. This. So this is the dual cone of C. So it automatically we can observe that C is a subset of C star dual cone. It is playing very important role in order to find the region in which you can get KKT condition is satisfied. So one more important concept is that what will happen if you define negative of dual cone, then what is name of this one? Negative of dual cone. What is negative of dual cone? We will call it polar cone. So negative of dual cone, how can you get it? Just increase it like this way, increase it like this way. So this complete cone structure, this one, we are calling it negative of K star, or simply negative of C star, negative of C star, or simply call it C naught. This cone we are calling it polar cone. So there is a very interesting relation between dual cone and polar cone. There are this relation we will explore in detail. So in detail we will call it more applicable thing in convex optimization is normal cone. So that's where I am discussing normal cone, and polar cone is a very general word. So this cone is a polar cone. So in next thing we will discuss in next class regarding attendance. Go and mark your attendance there in Google Classroom. I have already created a link for attendance. If you have any doubt, you are welcome. Otherwise, I am going to wind up for today's class.